Sellers in Port St Lucie, Florida, this is what you can expect during the inspection period of your home. So yes, your house is under contract to be sold in 30 days, but the buyer is in their inspection period. Today, we are going to review what you should expect as a seller and stay to the very end, because I will give you my blueprint of what you should do to make sure you sell the house for as much as possible, as soon as possible, with the least amount of inconvenience for everyone. My name is Jonathan B.J. Hayes, local realtor here in beautiful Port St Lucie, Florida. Thank you once again for returning back to the home of Port St Lucie Real Estate. As always, make sure you subscribe to the channel, share the videos, like the videos, and tell a friend about the wonderful things going on here in beautiful Port St Lucie, Florida. Anybody out there looking to sell or buy a house here in Port St Lucie, all my information is in the description below. You can call or text me for your free one-on-one consultation. So today we are going to discuss what you can expect as a home seller. What does an inspection period really mean? In Port St Lucie, I am beginning to sense and feel a little frustration amongst home sellers. So houses are still selling fairly quickly. 40 days on market is our average day on market from the time you list a house till you get a contract. Here is the issue. From $300,000 to $400,000, things go pretty quickly. I am starting to see these houses that look more high-end, more luxury. You know, we're starting to talk $475 up to $650. They're starting to sit on the resale side of things. And the reason for that is anybody that has a lot of money is scratching their head and saying, I don't think I want to deal with the whole roof issue. If I'm going to buy a house, I'd rather spend an extra 50 grand and get something brand new built from scratch. When you add that into the fact that mortgage interest rates are almost 8%, things are starting to slow down a bit and sellers are beginning to get frustrated. Here's what you can do to calm some of that frustration. The first thing I'm going to tell you is price the house accordingly. When your listing agent comes, whether it's me or somebody else, they're going to tell you what your house is going to sell for within 40 days. That's our average day on market. Let's say that number is $600,000. If your realtor tells you it's going to sell for $600,000, between $600,000 and let's say $585, if you want to bump it up to $650, that's on you, and we may get it. But just remember, this isn't pre-COVID. People aren't paying over asking price anymore, and buyers, they can be a little more choosy because there's less competition. You might get that price, you might not. I would tell you, listen to your agent, whoever that is. It's our job. We do this every day of the week and know what the market is doing. A lot of times you as a home seller, you're going on emotions, what a friend told you, what something listed for in the MLS but actually didn't sell yet. Trust your agent. Because when you do that, when you list your house accordingly, it's going to sell faster. The more people who come to your house, the faster you're going to sell the house and the more money you're going to ultimately get. There is no such thing as giving your house away. If your house is valued that low and listed, you will have 30 people beating down your door and starting a bidding war. So listen to your agent. The next thing that needs to be discussed is the status of the roof. If you've got a house and it's getting close to 15 years old, that new buyer is going to have an issue getting insurance. Even if the roof is absolutely pristine and looks like the day it was put on, if that roof is 20 years old, If you do find an insurance company that is going to insure you, being the new buyer, it's going to be a very high rate. So here is what I would suggest to you. Number one, if that roof is 15 years old or older, get that thing inspected. You don't want surprises for your agent when you get under contract and they go up there and find out the roof needs to be replaced. This way you can get ahead of this thing and decide, hey, it looks like we had a little leak before, but it was fixed. We need to document everything is fine. And if there is an active roof leak, get it fixed ASAP. Because if not, the new buyer, unless they're spending all cash, will not be able to get insurance. While you're doing that pre-inspection on the roof, get an inspector to go over the whole house. If there is plumbing issues, if there's any kind of other issues, get them fixed. Even though you'll have to pay for them now, you will be ahead of the game and your agent will not get surprises when they do the inspection. Once we get past the whole, everything is cool with the roof, everything is cool in the house and has been fixed, then we can move on to the staging point. But before I go to the staging, let me get back to the roof. If you've got a 15-year-old roof, there's a high probability, if you're looking to get the absolute most amount of money, you may have to replace this roof. All right? It is what it is at this point. We have an insurance issue. Our jobs as agents is to put you in the best situation possible to sell the house for as much as possible. The earlier we can get ahead of it, the better, all right? You do have options. If you don't have money to replace the roof yourself, there are roofing companies out there who will replace the roof and put a lien on the house so they can get their money at closing. The only issue with this is it may take 2 months for you to get a new roof. So if you're looking to handle this ASAP, that may not be a viable option. Your other option could be sell the house to an all cash buyer. But if that happens, you're never going to get the full amount of what you could get. In option number 3, if neither one of these two work, you've got no choice but to sell it to a cash buyer because a regular buyer is not going to get insurance. So here is the significance of a buyer not being able to get insurance. So if you have a buyer that is getting a bank loan from a lender, in order for that buyer to close, the lender has to bind the loan to an insurance policy. If the buyer can't get insurance, there's no way to bind, and there's no lender that is going to lend out hundreds of thousands of dollars without having an insurance policy. That's why if you do have an issue with the roof that you can't get past, it has to be a cash buyer, because a cash buyer has nobody else to speak to. So technically, if a cash buyer buys it and can't get insurance, that's their business. That's the significance of a buyer being able to get insurance to make a closing happen. So those are your options. And I bring this up because these are real issues in 2023 here in October, because I'm seeing them all over the place. All right. So now we've gotten that taken care of. Now we're going to stage the house. Staging the house, make sure everything is cleaned up and looks great. The nicer it looks, the prettier it's going to make it more attractive. We've done this. I will tag a few videos on here that tell you my best staging tips, but it is a big deal. All right. So now think about this. You've priced the house right. You've gone ahead and you've taken care of the roof and everything looks great. And the house is showing awesome. Now we're under contract. We've even gotten that price you wanted. Now we are on the most pivotal time through this whole transaction. It's the buyer's inspection period. Now, Mr. Seller, this is how this works. That inspection period, which is anywhere between 5 to 10 days usually, I recommend not giving somebody more than 10 days, because within 10 days, they can have somebody figure out what's wrong and we can get things worked out. They have that time period to decide if they want their house or not. They could wake up, say they were drunk, inebriated, high, just don't want your house, and they can get their escrow deposit back. So during this inspection period, we have our fingers crossed and we're saying our prayers that everything is going to work out. Now, until you pass this hurdle and this bridge, anything could happen, okay? So beware, that's the way that works. Once the buyer's inspection period is up, if they decide they do not want the house after that, you can keep their escrow deposit. Now, they do have another out. If they're paying with a bank loan, there is a finance contingency. But with that, they would need to get a loan denial from their lender saying they couldn't get the loan. Then you would have to give the money back. But if they just don't want it after the inspection period, you by rights can keep their deposit. You're not here to keep deposits. You're here to sell your house. But I must bring these things to your attention because I am seeing them in the market currently. All right. The next thing we will move on to is after that inspection period, we're still not totally done. There's a 92% chance that we will close on that date. So yes, but nothing in this business is concrete until they tell the selling agent to release the keys to the house and you check your bank account and all your money is in there from the sale of the home. So there you have it, from start to finish. That's what you can expect as a home seller in today's market. Inspection period is vital. You have rights as a seller, and also the buyer has rights. The buyer normally, sad to say, has more rights than what the seller does, in my opinion. This is Jonathan B.J. Hayes, local realtor here in beautiful Port St Lucie, Florida. Until we meet again, everybody, stay safe, be blessed.